Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This stunning gentleman opposite me, his name is Tim, and this is The Second Legacy, and thank you for stopping by. Well, today, brothers and sisters of The Second Legacy, we have got to dive into the deepest confines of leftist propaganda, Slate magazine, because you won't believe what me and Tim are about to share with you. Make sure you send this one out, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. Tim, I've got my mask, I've got my respirator. We're going in, man. How you ready for this? You ready?
I came woefully underprepared. I don't have my my biological warfare suit, my mask. Yeah, I have some props, but I don't know if they'll fit in or not.
Okay, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Well, Tim, I mean, let's just bring them right in. Our brothers and sisters out there watching. It turns out, Tim, that Slate magazine, as you know, this is no right-leaning organization. This is about as far left as you're going to go in publication, right? Of course, there's extremes, but this is way out there.
Yeah, this is like the Trace stupid. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good example. That's a similarity. Yeah. Well, it turns out, Tim, that we on the gun rights, we're in quite a pickle.
Yes.
Because the Hunter Biden thing is really making us feel hypocritical. Yeah. And up against the wall.
Yeah, we're totally.
Did you know?
I mean, for the last week since they announced him being charged, I've just been like in this hypocritical loop. I don't know what to do. Do I applaud his charges? Do I condemn them? I just don't know what to do. Oh, wait, there's Twitter that's been showing everything I've had to say since the beginning. And we're about to point out the stupidity of this one, this article. Just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Talk about reaching, man. This is what the left does.
This is
what the left does. Like, the left doesn't know what to do, right? Because their president, who supports all this nonsense, all these laws, well, he's about to use the Second Amendment and Bruin decision, other things like that, to defend his son. And that's putting them in a pickle. But with the left, which is so typical, they'll take the truth and reality, flip it on its head, turn it around, and then throw it back at you and say, well, it's really the gun people that are confused. And then... this is just good. This is too good. You got to read this article. You're going to bust out laughing like we did. This is just unbelievable.
Oh, and everything is linked if you guys want to see, because I'm only giving you the best hits. All right, so here we go. This is number one. Let's set the table right here, Tim. Hunter Biden's indictment has put gun rights groups in an awkward bind. Should they delight in the indictment of a political enemy or attack a law that they oppose? By Molly Olmstead. Molly is so on it, cutting edge.
She got us. Man, she's on top of it.
Man, dadgum. I really thought we had something there, Tim, but it turns out this is on us, and now we got to go back to the drawing board. Only one little problem, though. She's completely wrong and missing the entire point. Let's get this going. This is going to be so
Her examples are lame. This is good.
Lame. Yes, lame. That's right. Insult from the 80s. Lame. Now,
retread.
Let's get this. Retread. So, Mr. Producer, let's start this right. We're going to go with 2 into 3. Check this out, number 2 first. Tim, when news broke last week that Hunter Biden has been indicted by a federal prosecutor for lying about his drug use while possessing a gun, Gun Owners of America, a hardline gun rights lobby, responded with glee. You want to do anything on that one, or you want to go straight to 3?
Let's go ahead and do this. I am the Indiana State Director for Gun Owners of America, and
you hardliner.
Yeah, I know, right? And it's good to see them give credit to GOA for their hardline pro-gun stance, because they make the NRA look like the Brady Bunch. So anyway, yes, and this is just epic, because what they're going to point out here is that the tweets are generally a little bit lighthearted, right? Tweets are mocking, tweets have sarcasm, tweets are not like formal responses to things. And so this is where they get hung up. But then they're trying to say that the tweets that they're about to show us, or we're about to show our audience, they're contradictory. But are they? Now let's dive into them and see if they're truly contradictory, if GOA's in a pickle here and they just don't know how to get out of it.
Let's get it. Well, you know how we like talking about pickles on this channel. Tim, I would just like to point out that I'm offended on behalf of NRA, because they did just write in to the New Mexico lawsuit. Did you see the lawsuut? They are here. They'll see her in court.
I know. But see, it's a state lawsuit. It's a backup plan to the federal one. Well, the federal one already has an injunction. They're going nowhere. But some of the people are almost defending NRA because, well, they had to do something a little different. But anyway, we don't want to get back into that one.
No big deal.
There are injunctions in place, people. They did nothing.
They're coming in on a white horse, though. But let's go to number 3. Oh, I love the word exuberant. Here we go. It was the most exuberant reaction of any gun rights organization to the Hunter news, a sign that most conservative opponents of gun regulations were struggling to square a political victory for those who dislike President Biden with the consequences of a law that they oppose. But these groups appeared to find common ground in a single message. If there have to be bad laws, at least Hunter can be taken down by them too.
Well, yeah.
Where's the bind?
So are you arguing that he shouldn't be taken down by them? That he is in a separate political class? That sounds hypocritical. That's a very hypocritical notion.
Yeah.
But yes, so
the
tweet was tongue-in-cheek and a little bit funny, but the tweet, I guess we'll get to the tweet here in a minute, but the...
they got tons of stuff later.
Yeah. So they're talking about how their exuberant reaction from gun right organizations. Yeah, no, not really. Basically, well, let's get into the tweets because instead of me trying to explain them without showing them, let's just jump into them because this is where we just rip this Molly is her name apart. This is fun.
Yeah, it's just like you said. You know what? That's a good point. Let's just keep going. So, the 3 charges that Biden's son, if you're under a rock, this is what they're saying. The 3 charges Biden's son is facing stem from a 2-week period in 2018 when he obtained and then owned a handgun while he was using drugs. 2 of the charges relate to his lie about his drug use in the application for the gun. The 3rd and more serious charge relates to his possession of the gun while under the influence. Now, Tim, you know it's only 2 weeks. These gun control advocates, they are all about common sense safety. And I mean, even the lawyer of Hunter Biden said in his response to the indictment, there was no public harm. It was only a tiny little 2-week period. Nothing could go wrong. How many times have you heard that applied to any kind of argument that they've made?
Oh, I know.
0.
Exactly. None. And, so when they get into this, they're talking about the whole drug thing, right? And I've said this on Twitter. Look, the Fifth Circuit has already ruled that illegal drug use is not disqualifying for your access to your Second Amendment rights, right? They're not going to take your Second Amendment rights away from you as if you were a felon because you used an illegal drug. The Fifth Circuit's already said that's not a disqualifying thing. So really, when they brought these charges, look, this is the same group that gave him a sweetheart deal that tried to get him out of prosecution from now until forever. And a judge caught on to it because they tried to hide the we'll never charge him ever again for as long as there's a sun in the sky.
Right.
The judge caught on to that because they buried it within the motion, and the judge like, hey, what's this? No. What are you doing here? And then like, oh my gosh, we got it. Right. Okay, we're gonna scrap the whole deal. There's this fake fight over Hunter's group saying, oh, we have that plea deal. It's signed. It's done. They have to give it to us. And then the white side saying, oh no, you never signed anything, and he pled guilty or he pled innocent. He should have pled guilty, and so it's off the table. And this is a fake staged fight. Right. And so then we get into the charges and people are like, oh, yeah, he's finally gotten charged for something. Well, here's a problem with that. We have the Fifth Circuit ruling saying that it's not disqualifying. And they know this. So then people are saying, well, maybe he just lied on a federal form because that's illegal all across the board. Any federal form, you can't lie on it. Well, is it a lie if it's not illegal? Right. So this is where they're setting themselves up in court to actually have this either thrown out or not convicted and walk away with a slap on the wrist. And so the gun right groups aren't being hypocritical. And it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny that they say that GOA is the most hypocritical or the one making the most hay of this when it's usually FPC that's out there saying the really edgy stuff, right?
Oh, they're coming in a second.
So it's just so funny to see this because they know going into this, he has very little chance of actually being prosecuted, or not, he's going to get prosecuted for it, but he has very little chance of being convicted and actually sentenced to anything meaningful. It's going to be a slap on the wrist. They already know this. And yet this, and all these news organizations are just playing this up like, oh my gosh, Hunter's in such jeopardy. Oh, they did this to him for political reasons. And yeah, there's politics involved here, but not quite the direction they're claiming.
Exactly. And the thing that's so important, if you guys are not picking up the direction that we're going, we are mocking this heavily. Because the entire crux of the problem, the ultimate irony, the complete hypocrisy, has always been and will always be, in this case, the president's son, the president of whom is infringing upon our rights through the executive bureaucracies and abusing his constitutional powers. His son is the one doing the exact same thing, and there's special treatment. It's very simple. The hypocrisy lies right there. But what they're trying to do in this article is say, well, hardline gun groups, they are caught between a rock and a hard place. No, we're good. We're good. You're kind of proving our point.
We're applauding this, not because we think Hunter's going to go to jail, because we all know he's not. We're applauding this because this is going to dismantle their entire argument.
Yes.
And it could very well dismantle the whole 4473 process or forms requirement. It could take big chunks out of the Gun Control Act of 1968. I mean, we're applauding this because it's going to benefit all Americans, because it has a possibility of lifting some of these unconstitutional laws. That's why we're excited. We don't think he's going to jail. We know he's not. What we're excited about is, in his defense, he's going to make our case for us, and there's a good chance that we, the 2A community, the freedom-loving community, is going to come out on top. We don't care what happens to Hunter. We're just glad he's going to be a tool in our tool bag to get our agenda pushed forward, which is the agenda of freedom.
Tim, he's a tool in a tool bag.
He's the biggest pickle in D.C., wherever he lives.
Man, I'll tell you what. I get it. That's a good reference. So we're going to throw up number 5, because remember, Tim, earlier, it was only a 2-week period. Again, we're the hypocrisy here. It was only a 2-week period. Here's number 5. Let's get into this. But according to the New York Times, actual prosecutions of individuals who have lied on their applications for guns are extremely rare. Prosecutions on the third charge are less rare, but are typically bundled with other criminal charges and are not pursued on their own. Hunter Biden never used the weapon, had no criminal record, and committed no violent act. A substantial percentage of those accused of lying on federal firearms applications negotiate deals that include probation and enrollment in programs that include counseling, monitoring, and regular drug testing. The Times report stated, "It is unlikely that Hunter would even have been subject to this level of scrutiny were it not for his public profile." Say that to the woman in Newtown News in Virginia who went to prison for this exact same thing after her son made a mistake. A big one, a big crime. So, but Tim, it's only rare.
It's so rare that they prosecute about 300 some people a year for it. 300. So if we got to 365, that'd literally be one prosecution a day. So, but they have ATF has claimed that they get referred like 400 and some cases a year. So of the 400 and some cases, 300 and some are actually prosecuted. Yeah, that sounds pretty rare. Maybe it's because there aren't thousands of people dumb enough to lie on a 4473 form. Maybe. Could be it.
Maybe.
But nobody's ever prosecuted, so why would we prosecute him? We don't prosecute anybody. We only apply laws when we feel like it. Now, how about we just get rid of the law because we agree with you? It's stupid. So let's agree to just get rid of it. Hey, problem solved. Let Hunter go free. Fine with that. Get rid of the 4473. Fine with that. Get rid of the entire Gun Control Act 1968. Good with that. And let's talk about the NFA and the Gun Control Act 1934. Since we're having the discussion.
Yep, since we're hovering around the topic.
Maybe somebody needs to give Hunter a machine gun, so then we can have that conversation.
You would never, you unhuman. Oh my goodness gracious.
I know.
All right.
Crazy
and now,
gun rights
Tim,
people.
This is the moment. This is the moment, because this is where it all culminates. And this is exactly what we've been saying. This is the point of this video. If you guys have been picking this up, we're mocking this heavily because the people who are writing this article from Slate magazine, who are anti-gun completely, they don't even understand the entire point of what they're walking into, not only in the Hunter Biden thing, not only in President Biden thing, but also in this article and where this is going, what we're trying to lay out, because they don't even understand, and this is where they should get it if they're watching. So number 7, and Tim, to your point, by the way, excellent layout, sir. Here we go. Very few conservative gun groups defended Hunter or adhered to their previously stated position that the law he was indicted under shouldn't exist. The Firearm Policy Coalition reshared a tweet from August offering, quote, "If Hunter is looking for gun lawyers to challenge the federal law he's charged with violating, we know some people." Now, Tim, that seems weird because they're so hypocritical and they are backing up on their own. They're lauding their happiness of how he's getting charged on something they didn't agree with. Why would FPC say, I'll defend you? Why would that happen?
Because they're being hypocrites, you know? They're saying, we'll send you lawyers and we'll help you fight against this unconstitutional law, but apparently that's hypocritical. What, did FPC support the law the day before?
And it puts us in a rock place.
I don't think they did, so I don't see the hypocrisy here.
No, so what would that... So it's almost like, Tim...
Interesting.
In the long term, FPC would say, hey, we'll defend you, Hunter, because it will undermine all the gun control your father and people like him have put in place for decades. at your behest. Thanks, boo.
Yeah.
They don't get this, bro.
No.
They don't understand.
Well, they do. They're just dumb. And this is what they do, right? They're trying to spin this for the lowest common denominator, which typically votes for the Democrat and the anti-gun people. They're trying to spin this, and I'll guarantee you, the smooth brains that read this, that actually subscribe to this horrible rag, they'll go, oh yeah, look at those hypocrites go. We need to ban guns and ban gun people. Let's put them in a gulag. Yeah. This is the audience they're pandering to. But anybody that has two brain cells to rub together will look at this and go, where's the hypocrisy exactly?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, hey, I'm just curious, just for clarification purposes. If they're smooth brains, do the people who get this, are they foldy brains? What are they? They textured brains?
Yeah, they got the squiggly lines in the brain.
The squigglies. They're the squigglies. All right. Well, this squiggly individual, because this is a very squiggly audience, I'm so excited where this is going, because this is laying out so nicely. Because, as you said, the smooth brains don't seem to get this one. So on number 8, Mr. Producer, we are almost wrapping this up. Indeed, Tim, indeed. Hunter's own lawyers are pushing for the court to adhere to an earlier plea agreement that fell through. We've covered that a lot. Citing a challenge to the federal firearms background check system that is currently pending before the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Third Circuit. If the lawsuit succeeds, it could undermine the legal foundation of Hunter's prosecution and everyone else across the United States, by the way, because it is unconstitutional. Anyway, let's keep going. The New York Times reported, but that's not what gun groups are pushing for, though, Tim.
Oh, really? Okay.
The Second Amendment Foundation, yes, because now here comes the Second Amendment Foundation. The Second Amendment Foundation, which opposes restrictions on gun ownership, responded to Hunter's indictment by quoting an article from a conservative publication. Quote, "The law spells it out pretty clearly that a person like Hunter Biden shouldn't be owning a gun. And if you're not going to enforce it against Hunter Biden, I don't know how you're going to enforce it against anybody." Now, they put that in there to say that the Second Amendment Foundation is being hypocritical. The Second Amendment Foundation is being satirical because it's quite literally the point of the...
Yes, they're saying... Well, by saying, we don't think you'll be able to enforce it against anybody, which is an argument for its dismissal. Let's vacate the entire law, because that's what they're arguing for. There's nothing hypocritical in the statement. Again, they're trying so hard to twist this into something without literally changing the words of the people they're trying to quote here. It's just not working for anybody, again, that has any synapses going on whatsoever in the gray matter. And so it's mind-numbing to me. And this one thing I do want to point out, though, because I don't think it made it into our actual clips here. I wanted to talk about what Gun Owners of America said that led the entire article. So they said, good, in quotes, if his father wants to work with us to repeal unconstitutional gun control, our lobbyists will be at the White House in an hour. Until then, Hunter shouldn't get any sweetheart deals. It sounds very similar to what the SAF said, right? We'll send our lawyers, our FPC, we'll send our lawyers, we'll help you out. And then, it goes into, if his father wants to work with us to repeal unconstitutional gun control laws, there's nothing hypocritical there. That's pretty consistent. Our lobbyists will be at the White House in an hour. They're already in D.C. We're offering help. Until then, SAF, this is going to their point, he shouldn't receive a sweetheart deal. No, if you're going to enforce laws against the common people, then you darn well better enforce it against the political elites. Now, if you want to have a conversation about the law being unconstitutional, let's have that conversation. If this conversation gets those laws undone, then good for us. We're happy about it. Yes, we're gloating because, yes, Hunter Biden is helping our cause. Slate, you're a bunch of idiots. Oh, yeah. Shocking.
Shocking. Smooth brains.
I know, right?
I don't even. Is that an actual insult? Can I do that?
Yeah, Google it.
I feel like that's an okay one. Okay,
it's probably cleaner than pickle jokes.
Well, I mean, you never know. Sometimes I can't. Never mind. I don't even want that. I can't even go there. I'll get in trouble. Well, Tim, I think we've put a good wrap on this, but there's one more thing we must say. I get to use the word tepid in an actual article. I love cool words. Let's get into this one, because this kind of ties it all together. These tepid responses show just how much partisan politics plays into stated policy goals. Oh my God. The ambivalence from gun rights groups may not be surprising, given the political awkwardness of the situation. What are they smoking? But it is notable given the opportunity to promote a new ally for the cause. On Friday, Hunter Biden's attorney made the argument that would, under other circumstances, have been articulated by the gun rights groups themselves. That's the point.
That's what we've been saying. They're so hypocritical. They're going to upload what they've been saying all along, or they're going to propose what they've been saying all along. It's so hypocritical being consistent.
Yep. And in fact, and here's what the attorney said. The statute his client was charged with under, the attorney said, was likely unconstitutional. And they wrap it up proving the point, the entire thing. What was the point of this article other than just to gaslight people with stupidity? Yeah. I mean, these gun rights people, they're off their rockers. They're being completely hypocritical. We don't really have any evidence of it, but look at their tweets. They're gloating that this gloating is hypocritical, and they're going to use this to undo these gun laws, which is hypocritical because they support these gun. What are you saying, you morons? You just talked in a circle for 10 paragraphs, said absolutely nothing other than we don't support the laws, and we hope Hunter Biden helps us tear them down. Oh. Even though he's not, which puts us in an awkward position, even though it proves our point. This is a weird one. I'm gonna be honest. This is one of the weirder ones.
Mental gymnastics are fun, dude. I mean, it is.
It's my favorite sport.
It is your favorite sport because these clowns are flip-flopping around. I mean, this sounds like a Fetterman speech. This is just unbelievable. It's just everywhere. They're all over the board, and they bring it back to, well, they'll probably use a constitutional argument to defend Hunter. Well, yeah, and they should, because what they've done to him is unconstitutional.
For everyone else, too, by the way. Goodness gracious. It's just a never-ending cesspool.
All they want to do is protect Hunter. They don't care about you and me. As long as they can get Hunter off, they're fine with it. They'll lift the law for a day, let him slide, and then they'll reapply the law to us. That's where they would like to see this go.
Oh, whatever, Tim. You are just trying. You are just trying to get out of your awkward bind.
I am.
Because I see you awkwardly bending out of your bind.
I know. I'm over here twisting in the wind.
And that's really where this is. Yeah, you are.
No consistency whatsoever in our messaging, ever.
You're not consistent at all in constitutionality. No. You are an awkward bind. These people are insane.
I mean, if they could find one tweet where somebody said, we hope he goes to prison for the rest of his life from a pro-gun group. That's what they're trying to insinuate, right? But they don't have the receipts. So they're just trying to twist what they're saying. They're over here gloating. Well, that's not hypocritical to gloat. Whatever. Anyway, yes. Well,
you know what?
Let's see how this plays out because I really, 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 truly hope that Hunter Biden walks, and in doing so, that they strip these laws from the books. It's a big wish, but you got to go for the gusto and you got to aim high. So anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Please subscribe to the channel. Be sure to tell other folks out there the Second Legacy exists. Thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you guys soon.